All right, guys. Well, the Lakers, you don't want to draw it up the way they did last night. They allowed 9 points in the first quarter, 24-point lead in the second quarter, and yet they still hung on to barely win on the road in Orlando. But, hey, they got the win, right? That's all that matters.
It really is. I mean, you hold on to a game that you started off extremely well at, what you stated. And, you know, as long as you get the quality win on the road, that's all that matters. But you want to have that momentum going into the next game, which is the Miami Heat.
Yeah, for what they've been able to prove the last couple of weeks, you know, going on the road, winning on the road, back-to-back against elite playoff teams, Denver, Utah, and then you go into Orlando, you're not going to be at the top of your game every night. It's just not going to happen. But you do have to be able to pick out the little battles in the game that's going to allow you to get over the hump. And that's what they're able to do. This veteran team led by LeBron. I mean, he's triple-double against Orlando. So only 18 points in that third quarter against Orlando kind of let them back in the game. But to make the, adjustment to go ahead and close it out in the fourth quarter, that speaks volumes for a team that can do that.
Yeah, James, great point. You led me to my next question. Anthony Davis, the big 50-point outburst a few nights earlier against Minnesota. He was kind of quiet last night. You know, he was 6 for 20 from the floor, finished with 16 points, but LeBron was there, his 6th triple-double of the season. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and not just that, though. Anthony Davis, he didn't have his biggest scoring output, as you saw with the 50 burger, as they call it. But he still was able to do the things defensively for you on the end of the floor. Like, he still stayed true to his assignments. And that's important because, sometimes guys go better when they're scoring offensively or if they having efficient nights, and it's easy to do it when things are going good. But when it's a little adversity and you're struggling to find your groove, to stay committed to the defensive end of the floor, that speaks volume to his character and his leadership.
It also speaks to the relationship that LeBron and AD have developed over the years. They kind of know each other. LeBron knows when AD's not really there and vice versa. In the 50 burger game that AD hit, let's remember, LeBron had 32 points and 13 assists in that game. Kind of got overlooked. So LeBron is steadily.
That it?
That's it. 32 points and 13 assists. He's steadily monitoring the team, even though AD got 50, comes to Orlando, team not quite balanced where they're supposed to be. It's the captain, the king, that comes out and gets the triple-double and takes the victory.
You love saying that, too.
I love the king. Yeah.
So Avery Bradley came back. He played 17 minutes. KCP, not looking over his shoulder, though. He played pretty well. Hit 4 threes, got 15 points. What do you think of his game?
He was solid. He ran the floor extremely well. He defended really well, and his stakes was minimal. And that's how you stay on the basketball court. Whether you're starting or not starting, you're going to have a place on the court in a steady rotation if you're doing those things. And most importantly, he wasn't just taking shots, he was making shots at an efficient rate. So, look, he had a huge part, and his fingerprints was all over that quality win.
I agree. And the one thing I think that Pope is learning is that at that position that he's playing, it has to be steady every night.
Yes.
It's got to be defensive, lockdown, disrupt that point guard. Maybe not knocking down the shots all the time, but he's got to be a disruptor. That's one thing that Bradley may have an edge over him, because when he comes in, it's every night. He's disrupting. So Pope's been playing very well, and I think coaches like that competition within the practice amongst each other. It kind of helps to create that energy you need. So it's good. It's going to be a good fight to see who gets to keep that position.
All right, the Lakers have tied the record. It's actually the second best performance all time on the road. 12 road wins in a row. You guys, being the esteemed former players that you are, it's not easy to win 2 on the road in a row, or even 3. They've done 12 in a row. What does that mean about this team now, and perhaps down the line in the playoffs?
Yeah, my mom used to say, be slow to speak, eager to listen. So I love that the Lakers they're not speaking a lot, but they're sending the message to the rest of the league. We win on the road. We come into your backyard and we win. And you think about that when you're playing a team like that and you're watching them, how they dominate on the road and how they stay focused, you better be ready when the Lakers come to town.
You know what, guys? You just put up the verbal equivalent of 50 burgers. Way to go.
50 burgers.
Good stuff, guys.
Anthony, coming off a season high for you guys in scoring tonight, you guys had to win in a different way. How would you describe what this one took?
Effort. We turned the ball over a lot in the third quarter and let them get back in the game. Even a little bit in the second. We know they're protective paint team. They're very handsy, and they got their hands on a lot of basketballs tonight, especially in the third quarter, which allowed them to get out in transition and get a lot of easy buckets to cut that lead down. So, we'll take the win. Obviously, we didn't play our best on both ends of the floor, but, anytime you can get a win on the road, we'll take it.
You're not a guy that's just about offense, but the way they were collapsing inside, of course, making it tough at the rim, how would you kind of assess just your night?
I mean, I had some good looks. I missed them. I think I made some right plays, passing the ball to shooters. So just got to keep making reads, making the right plays, finding my teammates, and, making sure that, I put the ball in the right places and can just continue to be aggressive.
Is the start of a road trip a good time to kind of win gritty and win ugly and kind of remind yourselves what you're up against?
They're a team that's not going to quit. So even though we were up early in the first quarter, we knew they were going to make a run. I mean, we are on the road, they're at home, so they got the crowd behind them. But, like I say, anytime we can, get a win on the road, we'll take it. But the thing is, we can learn from all the mistakes that we made. Is correctable, and stuff that we did on our own. Turning the ball over in the paint, knowing that they like to create turnovers, and which helps them in their fast break game. So for us, we just got to make sure that we take care of the basketball and get good shots down the floor. But we'll take this win. Every win is not going to be a pretty win, but as long as we win, we'll take it.
When you're missing arguably the two leaders of your bench in Rondo and Kuz, how much more vital does that make what you were able to get from Dudley tonight?
Oh yeah, Dudley played well. Hit some threes, did some good things, and moving the basketball on the offensive end, did some good defensive plays. He's a vet. He always stays ready. He knows how to play the game of basketball. So, anytime his number is called, he's ready. So, glad to have a guy like that, who's always ready, no matter what the circumstances are.
Do you think the double technical he got, do you think he deserved that?
I don't think he should have been ejected, but he was. He's. One thing about us, we're going to have each other's back no matter what. And he stood up for his brother, and I don't think it was deserving of an ejection, but that's what they call it, So we have to live with it, and like I said, we're through the midst of everything that was going on in the game.
All right, Jared, just kind of big picture on the game-wise. LeBron was talking about you make the flight across the country, the early start. Like in your experience, your career, like what's the key to getting a win like that when it's not ideal circumstances?
I mean, it's tough because time zone, and then you get your first game here. Practice was at like 7 at night, so for us, it's probably getting enough sleep. We have optional shoot-around, so guys were rested, and as you saw, first quarter was huge for us, got in a huge lead. Second quarter, kind of let our guards down. They came back, and then third quarter and fourth, you're in a battle, and things got a little chippy, and hopefully I don't get fined, and we move on and get ready to go to Miami. You see my Miami outfit already. I'm already ready to go.
You mentioned things get chippy. Of course, you came in and, after Dwight got shoved, you came in, do a little shove. But we've seen that from you in your career before, right? That's kind of if somebody's going to push one of your teammates. Is it that simple?
I think for one, it was, multiple guys, and, it was getting chippy already with a lot of fouls not being called both ways. And then for that, pushing someone in the back. And so just a push. I thought it should have been double tech in that, but they want to eject. They can eject. It's not that big of a deal. But, no, for sure, not just me. You guys stand up for your guys. Sometimes it's pushing. Sometimes it's a hard foul. Sometimes it's whatever you have to do. And this time was just a push, and I couldn't really get to him, so I just pushed the pile, man. Make sure everybody moves.
You had 3 threes in this one, and you also passed up some open looks. But that was, you probably had that in your mindset. Kuz was not going to play. You knew that you were going to be needed in this case, no?
I did. Usually my pregame workout is doing cardio, shooting before. I do lift and do cardio after the game just to stay ready. I knew my number. The numbers are eventually going to get called. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to come here. I knew I would have to play every day. I knew that you had AD and Kuzma, so I might play 40 to 50 games. But as you know, it's a long season. People miss games. Braun, AD are going to miss, and as someone who hasn't played in that stretch to come out there and play and shoot the ball well, I shot the ball a little bit better than expected. A couple threes I passed up. I was trying to get Avery a couple threes, get him going, get back in the flow. And sometimes I don't mind passing up shots for guys that we need to get back in rhythm later in the season, and got the win.
Aware of some of the physicality on Dwight, given his history here and everything he's gone through?
For one, I mean, it goes both ways. I mean, Dwight gets fouled a lot, but Dwight fouls a lot. So, it goes a little bit of both. And sometimes it's going to be chippy, and sometimes they jack him up, and sometimes it's warranted the other way around. And so for that I don't care if my teammates in the